I can't seem to keep up with Helldivers right now because the changes and updates, they are coming in hot and heavy, kind of like a bot drop on Helldiver difficulty. And surprise, we've got a brand new widespread update to the game which touches on all aspects of the game, like weapon balance, stratagems, and a ton more in-game mechanics as well. Also, late yesterday, we got another major order. So this is after we took Malevolent Creek, and there are multiple fronts baked into this one as well. Welcome to the channel. Woo, it's LtBuzzLitebeer, and I'm going to be touching on all these changes because I've now gone into the game and tested a bunch of this out for you this morning. Remember to hit subscribe and ring the notifications bell to receive my future upload alerts, and hold on to your butts, divers, because here we go. Alright, first things first, we need to check in on the current major order, and this is the new major order, FYI, because the dispatches show that we liberated Malevolent Creek yesterday, which I still haven't seen those medals yet, and now we're into Operation Swift Disassembly Phase 3, which is built around the automatons sensing annihilation, and they've gone full tilt into a large-scale counter-assault. So, quick TLDR here, we've gone from just liberating the Creek to then liberating Creek and Ubanea to now holding drop near the Creek and Ubanea, which is bonkers because there's just so much going on right now, right? Anyways, current status puts us at 100% on drop near, good job Helldivers, 65-ish% on the Creek, and only 22% on Ubanea. So the long and short of this is we have to hold off the automatons' counterattack on the Creek and Ubanea for the next day to day and a half, and we should be able to pull this one off for 40 fat medals. Now, where this starts to get even a bit crazier is that over on the right side of the galaxy on Crimsica, there's a defense campaign running over there as well, which I believe we are currently losing. So defense versus the bots, defense versus the bugs running at the same time. I mean, we're going to be busy for the next few days. But definitely the shot heard round the Helldiver world right now is this massive new balance patch the devs have uncorked. This is patch 1.000.200. And it's aimed at handling things like balance changes to missions, stratagems, weapons, enemies, and even us, Helldivers. It also has a bunch of general fixes and stability improvements baked into it as well. So let's just dive straight into it. First up are gameplay changes. These include 2 new Planetary Hazards, which I looked for but I haven't seen yet. They include blizzards and or sandstorms. And for those of you that have joined my community Discord server, we have an awesome Helldiver community over there. If you happen to grab a screenshot of one of these new blizzards or one of these new sandstorms, if you can go ahead and post it over there in our Helldiver community in the Discord, I would greatly appreciate it. I really want to see what these look like. Also, a massive change to the game that was originally a stealth change, the mods have actually gone in and now added it into the patch notes, is the fact that the maximum level cap for Helldivers has been raised from 50 up to 150. That's right, it's been tripled, and we started noticing this one the moment we started logging in this morning. I've been at level 50 for a while now. When I logged in this morning, I was level 56 or 57, although there's no indication in game to let us know how this has been prorated. Is it based on XP you've accumulated past 50? Is it just based on the hours spent in the game? I can't find any verbiage on it. I also checked over on the onboard ship computers. Sadly, no additions over there. So nothing to spend our extra rec credits on and nothing to spend those samples on. Once they're maxed, they are maxed. We also got several mission balancing changes in this patch as well. The first of which is to the Retrieve Essential Personnel missions. Essentially, they've moved the enemy spawn points further away from the objective to give us more time and to give us Helldivers a better shot of defending that location. And now there's also fewer civilians required to complete that mission on higher difficulties. That's actually a welcome change, although I don't see anything to do with the actual pathings of the civilians. They tend to get a bit janky sometimes. They stack up on the ramps and they block themselves, so they're unable to make it over to the safe door. The second big change was to the Destroy Command Bunkers missions, which was always a super easy mission. All you had to do was find that command bunker, drop a 500 kg straight in on top of it, blow it to smithereens, and it was over. You could just run to extraction. Well, now they've added on extra objectives to actually complete that mission. It's also going to now start appearing in operations from difficulty 5 and up. And if anyone at Arrowhead ever sees this video, I'd also like to just have all the mission types available on all the difficulty levels. I missed some of those lower difficulty missions, like I think it was Raise the Flag. That was a pretty patriotic mission to do. You don't see that on 7s on ups. I'd love to see that added in. And then here is a real biggie, and this is a big W for Arrowhead. They've halved the negative effect of operation modifiers that increased stratagem cooldowns and or call-in times. Thank God that has been modified. They didn't completely remove it, but it's been halved. So when you call in that extraction and it's 4 minutes to go, that's now been halved down to 2 minutes. Things like that. That is a solid W in my opinion. Next up are some pretty significant and widespread changes to primaries, secondaries, and support weapons. And just looking over these changes, I think this is really going to shake up your current kit that you're bringing into those missions. Now, the first 3 have to do with the arc thrower, the first of which says that every shot will now take 1 second to charge up. So the days are gone, it looks like, at least to me, of that long first shot and then those quick follow-up shots. Also, they've reduced the arc thrower distance, its max distance, from 50 meters down to 35 meters because that thing was hitting like a sniper, but they've also increased the stagger force for the arc thrower. Next up is the guard dog. It will now restore full ammo from supply boxes. Of course, they're speaking about the one that uses the machine gun, not the laser guard dog. Here is a massive buff, 30% damage increase to the anti-material rifle. I love sniping with that thing, but it just didn't do enough damage. Well, now it just picked up 30%. We've also got a change to the breaker incendiary. Listen to this. Damage per bullet increased. That's per bullet, from 15 up to 20. And remember, this is a incendiary shotgun. So that sounds like a, 25% increase per pellet on the breaker incendiary. There's also a general fire damage increase by 50% per tick from all sources, although sadly I don't see anything mentioned here about a fix for the host, non-host fire damage not actually applying damage issues that are currently in the game. The Liberator pen now has a full auto mode. Thank you for that. Experimented with it this morning. Lib pen is a lot of fun right now. Also, kind of fun is the Dominator, which was kind of a weak weapon. Well, it increased its damage from 200 up to 300, so it picked up 30% or 33%, and it also now has increased stagger. I messed around with the Dom this morning. It hits better, not my favorite, but it's definitely a viable option. The Diligence Counter Sniper also had its armor pen moved from light over to medium armor pen, and I experimented with it this morning. It hits pretty well, not my favorite, but it's definitely a viable option. And then the Slugger got nerfed kind of across the board. Reduced stagger, reduced damage from 280 to 250, reduced demolition force, although the Slugger was hitting really hard before this change, so maybe it's brought a little more in line with the other weapons. Also for the Slugger, they fixed the armor pen tag in the menu, and the Slugger, Liberator Concussive, and Senator also had fixed incorrect armor pen tags in the menu. And finally, let's touch on the support weapon changes. There are 3 of them. The recoilless rifle now gets 1 extra rocket from supply boxes, bumping up from 2 to 3. The spear, which is the worst weapon in the game, you might as well just throw a grenade in the air and have it land on top of your head and kill you right then and there. You get an extra rocket from supply boxes for this one as well, so you get 2 attempts to commit suicide. And the heavy machine gun, oh no, the highest fire rate mode reduced from 1200 RPM down to a more moderate 950. Damn you, Arrowhead, that was fun at 1200 RPM. Next up, and very quickly, we have 1 change to stratagems. The Patriot exosuit rockets will now only penetrate armor on direct hit. I know many players out there, me included, were benefiting from the splash damage of those exosuit rockets. Well, those days are over. And finally, we have some balancing adjustments to enemies. First off are the chargers. Their normal melee attacks now do less damage against exosuits, so that's a pretty big victory right there. Bile spewers and nursing spewers do less damage with their puke. Hallelujah. Thank you, Arrowhead. Those things were really overpowered. The Bile Titan can no longer be stunned, I assume, by the stun grenades. Interesting change there. But then again, if you think about it, that tiny grenade was stun locking those Bile Titans. Shriekers no longer create bug breaches. That was fun to see when they would just come flying up out of the ground. And finally, Shriekers hitting you while they are dead now does significantly less damage. Boo, Arrowhead. That was a fun one to see, kind of like those old Starship Troopers days. You would kill one of those Shriekers and it would just come barreling down, and if it hit you, it would, many times it could just decapitate your player. I know this video is running a bit long, and I promise we're into the home stretch now because you're going to want to hear about this one. This is a massive change to us. That's right, Helldivers themselves, because now our heavy and medium armor is going to protect us better. We're going to take about 10% less damage than before while wearing heavy armor, and about 5% less damage when wearing medium armor. By the way, fortified commando and light armor are both unchanged. I tested this out this morning with both medium and heavy armor. Let me tell you, heavy armor is gonna be your choice. I was running around on difficult automaton missions just wearing heavy armor, no shield pack, and I was surviving straight blast from rocket devastators. There's also been a massive bug that the devs have found and fixed, and I can confirm, having to do with explosive damage and the fact that it would multiply. That's right, Helldivers, it would stack many times when we were taking on things like those automaton rocket barrages. So you would think that you were going to be able to tank through it and you would just take that one-shot kill. Well, that has to do with this damage multiplying. It's now been corrected. And finally, one of the worst stratagems in the game, and unfortunately I love using this, but I refuse to use it in Helldivers, the Ballistic Shield. It's now seeing quite a bit of love. It's now going to be more forgiving, it's going to protect us more, and it's going to allow us to become a little less vulnerable while using the shield in first person. And finally, the known issues board shows up as well. You can see it here on screen, and it is just plagued once again with issues to do with friends, inviting friends, keeping friends on your friends list. Arrowhead, I really hope you can sort this out sooner than later because it's a real pain in the ass trying to bring friends into your squad. All right, this is a great place to press pause for today, and I really appreciate you sticking with me to the bitter end. There was just so many juicy patch notes to cover in today's video. Remember to hit subscribe and ring that notifications bell to receive my latest upload alerts. All my social links can be found down in the video description, including an open invite link to my official Discord server, where we have an awesome and growing Helldiver community, complete with LFG areas and, of course, those free voice channels. Shout out now to the over 213,000 of you that have stuck with me and hit subscribe. You are all legends. Until the next one, this is LtBuzzLitebeer signing off.